Hello, my absolutely brilliant and beautiful astrology soulmates. It's me, Stormy Grace, and welcome to your weekly horoscope for the week of November 17th, going all the way to the 23rd, where this week is powerful and it is busy as well. We've got a lot of transits that are active, but they're also active in a way that's helping you kind of look back and have a bit of a radical new response to how you have been doing something in your life. We're going to talk about that as we get through the week, but it's also a new moon week. So we have the new moon swimming in the Scorpio waters. Mercury is still retrograde and sliding back into those Scorpio waters. And we're also going to see that the sun is going to switch signs and shift us into Sagittarius season. So bringing a lot more light, a lot more levity into our space. So there's something about this week, and I can't wait to talk about it with you, but there is something about this week that makes me think, okay, first and foremost, something's coming that's going to click the way you've got to redo your actions need a redoing, something like that, right? Like you have to shift it because your momentum is going towards a bit of the wrong thing, but it just needs a kind of course correction this week. So we'll talk all about that. Now, we've got these alignments that are happening this week as well, several of them at 29 degrees, the anaretic degree, which is always a point of karmic intensity when we're speaking about astrology, right? It's a completion, it's a pressure to evolve. So this is what I was factoring in as well as I was looking at the week where I'm like, wow, okay, this is like a big decision I need to make or a big direction shift I need to make. And it's asking for a deeper honesty, a deeper, different level of emotional maturity and clarity in order to click and get in that direction. So we will break all of that down. If you're new here, welcome. It's brilliant to have you. If you're coming back, thank you for still being here. The timestamps for every single day will be in the description box down below, so you can just click to the day that you need. But while you're down in that description box, I hope that you will do it. It's the time of the year to grab your digital transit calendar from our friends at Wise Skies Collective. And you know, I love this tool. I use this tool all year. I talk to you guys besides my ephemeris, which I live in, this poor thing. The digital transit calendar is absolutely amazing, particularly when you're traveling. If you've never seen it, click down there, check it out. It helps you get prepared all year. You can use my code Stormie 2026 for a little bit of a discount as well. And for those of you who are finding out, particularly under this Jupiter in Cancer, they've got to go back and receive. Give extra time to nurture and nourish yourself. Jump into the Venus Reset program. Jump into it, right? It's femininity, it's Venus, it's receiving, it's transformation, it's softening. It's 22 days of receiving. Can you give yourself that? So it's all in the description box down below. All right, friends, into the week we go. Now, as we're coming in on Monday, our moon day energy is governed by the moon starting the day in the vibration of Libra. So we're coming in this week, even Venusian, right? When you're thinking about how you get up and you're beginning to move through your day here on Monday, think about, I can move today in receptivity. Can I move today in receptivity? Can I move today in a bit more diplomacy and a bit more balance? Very Libra vibration kind of energy. Now, it's interesting too, because we've got so much going on in the Scorpio season energy that the Libra desire to kind of keep peace, paired with the Scorpio energy and the moon sliding into Scorpio as we get towards the second half of the day, brings this space of like, we need to find the truth beneath the surface, but then we also need a diplomatic way to deal with this particular energy. After a long season of the Scorpio energy, there's a lot more emotional intuition that I think comes with this as well. The emotional and intuitive intelligence is locked in and is pretty fire. Now, we are also going to see here on Monday that the sun is going to come into a trine with Jupiter, who's retrograde. So as they're in this trine, first of all, you want to go to 25 degrees of your chart of both Scorpio and Cancer, respectively. And this is such a heart expanding transit. But because Jupiter is retrograde here, it's like if there was a door that was locked before, you've been trying to do it, you've been trying to get to it, whether it's the door of self-care, of nurturing relation with your families, home, any of these kinds of things, the opportunity under the trine is still there. You just need to walk through it, and the doors are open now. Remember, though, as you're coming in, it's the opportunity about something that's already in motion. That's where the retrograde takes us. So the story is still unfolding, but now you weren't able to, maybe you were walking right past the door before, and the opportunity to enter it now is there, and you probably have earned it. Now we've got another trine that is really such a beautiful story as we're traveling here on Monday, and that is the sun being in a trine to Saturn. Scorpio and pattern. So Scorpio and pattern, Scorpio and Pisces. So we have got a water trine again going here. Now, where the trine with Jupiter wanted to expand and offer that opportunity for you to take advantage of what you've earned. Saturn here is stabilizing it. Okay. So this is where it's like if you walk through that door and all of the efforts that you have made to walk through or to get through the door that you're going, this is where your efforts are counted for, right? It reinforces, though, maturity. It's a different level of maturity that we're playing with here, and that has nothing to do with age. It has to do with our capacity for truth and relationship and to be able to restructure along those maturity lines. There's a really quiet dignity, I think, that shines through when we're dealing with Saturnian energy. So show up as the person you want to walk through that door of opportunity, right? Like hold it, because this has a lot of long-term good, particularly emotionally. Now, we're also going to see that Mercury, who is still retrograde in Sagittarius at this point, is in a sextile to Pluto, who's in Aquarius. Now, Pluto is still out of bounds. However, Mercury is retrograde. Okay, so this is kind of X-ray vision. You can see something like your mind is genuinely going back over something from the past. You're reviewing it. Think about things that started to come up for you in August or in October. You can tell I'm recording during Mercury retrograde. During October, particularly around October 20th, what started to come up? What started to swirl for you at that particular time? What was happening, right? Something that is now coming to truth, something that is now coming to light. Your instincts or your intuition around something were maybe not as sharp then, and they are much sharper now, right? You're hearing you're hearing the things that are not being said, right? You're reading between the lines pretty astutely at this particular time. So if you do here on Monday, you uncover a moment that demands and requires maturity from you, but it also gives you an opportunity to walk through a door that could change your life or change the current circumstances in your world. It's a phenomenal day to have the experience of going through the door. We'll have a short void, of course, and then the moon is going to shift into that vibration of Scorpio for our next 2.5 days. Scorpio still wants to go deep, but also we're in our deep waters where you can feel into your emotions, feel into the action and the momentum and the stories that are even coming from your hips, right? What are the emotional stories that have been stored in your hips, in your arms, in your back, in your shoulder? You're feeling cortisol come up. And how can you connect with the Scorpio moon to allow you to acknowledge it, hear the truth of what it is, and present a space for transformation? As we get into Tuesday now, that Mercury that's retrograde is going to slide back into the vibration of Scorpio. And this is going to be later on Tuesday night around 10 p.m. So as Mercury is sliding back into Scorpio, the storyline of our thinking is going to intensify a bit, right? Because as Mercury's pulling backwards to where it's been already, it's bringing your mind more deeply into this emotional space. It's psychological. Why do I do this? Where does this come from? Mindset information that comes from an emotional place. Intuitive processing is coming through here, because it's the second descent. It's the second time Mercury is having the travel here. So it's almost like a return to the underworld. It's like you're coming back into the underworld of something to retrieve something that your spirit or your emotions left or forgot last time it was coming through. So it's really precise. On Tuesday, you have a precision, you have an investigatory nature that it's an uncompromising energy. That's what I can say. So if there is a real conversation, if there is a big decision, if there's something intuitively that is coming up and it couldn't be solved the first time, but now there's more of a space of resolution, this could be a time that you are having that conversation. Now, we're going to see that Mercury is going to come direct as we get to November 29th, but we still also need to get to the post retrograde shadow time as well. But let's at least get to the 29th so that we can see where your deep investigation is leading you. Okay, here on Wednesday, this is actually a lovely, lovely, lovely energy, I think, because first of all, let's take a look at these days just in general. The 18th and the 19th. Okay, so on the 18th, we saw that Mercury slid back into that Scorpio energy, right? But then on the 19th, what we're seeing is that Mercury is now opposing Uranus. So as Mercury is retrograde and having this opposition with Uranus, this is where I'm telling you it's at 29 degrees. And this is saying the momentum was going in one direction. Now pivot it, change it, change the direction. You've seen a truth or a surprising truth or a revelation has come to your front door, and it's time we have to kick it in a different direction. Now, whether that truth that disrupts it is something that brings clarity and you can connect with that, or it's some kind of just disruptive news, a sudden insight or genius that clicks on for you, right? Whatever it is, there's a sharper perspective and you've got to change directions. That's all I could say. The action, the momentum, the circumstance has to click another degree. Now, Mercury will also be in a trine to Neptune, who's over in Pisces as well. So this softens whatever this change of direction is going to be, it's going to soften this. And I think that it's really important because there's a compassion that is needed to make this pivot or this change. And I really do hope that you will tell me in the comment section down below what is happening for you midweek, certainly by the end of the week, that you've needed to change directions. But the Mercury Neptune is this sense of, I understand why I need to do this now. I understand why that happened. I understand is kind of the thought that comes to me around that. Now, overall, I will say that the energy on Wednesday to me, it feels a bit more like those days that are a bit more faded. You know, there's a bit more, yep, this is totally meant to be. It's definitely a day where there's an awakening and there's a heart opening as well. But the energy may feel a little bit like, wow, I've just had a spiritual awakening of some variety or a creative awakening of some variety. Okay, but then this is all leading us in as well to our new moon energy that's happening here on the 20th. So we've got the new moon happening at 28 degrees of Scorpio. You have a separate new moon video. I hope you checked it out because I went in on the aspects. I broke that down for you. So if you haven't, I'll put it at the end or just look on the homepage and you should be able to see it. But this is such a rebirth. It's not like, oh my God, the rebirth of your life. Listen, the rebirth of your life probably happened on a Tuesday, March 6th, 1982. So it's a pretty profound rebirth nonetheless, because it's going to ask for complete honesty, a total release, and some kind of uncompromising self-trust in that wild thing in you that is trying to come out unapologetically, completely unapologetically. Now, the sun is also going to be in Cazimi with Mercury, right? And Mercury is retrograde. So we've got this beautiful Cazimi happening at this time, and this is clarity. Mercury under the rays of the sun, it's sitting in the heart of the sun. So, what is also being revealed through this rebirth, through this honesty that is showing up, through this maturity, through this I understand and I get it now kind of energy? It is so insightful. It is so insightful. I think this is one of the clearest aspects and clearest thinking and decision-making energies we have all week long, because what you realize today, I think, will guide you over this next 6 months. Now, Uranus is also going to be in a sextile to Neptune, both at 29 degrees here. So again, this speaks to me. It's pretty deep. It's pretty spiritual. There are old timelines around us, particularly in society, or things that we've believed in society that'll be closing, new ones are opening. The intuition is heightened under this. There's just a different spiritual sense that is certainly sharpened, but this is more governing our communities. And it's like an idea or an ideal that you've now seen the truth about. The world wasn't ready for it before, and it is more ready for it now. Okay. On Friday, we're going to see that the sun, who's at 29 degrees of Scorpio, comes into this opposition with Uranus, who's at 29 Taurus at this time. So sometimes the most shocking thing about life is reality. I know it's hit me before. So as we're traveling here on Friday, you might have a reality check. It's just a reality check. Doesn't mean the end of the world or anything like that. It's just a reality check, right? Like life wants change, and the resistance is futile, and the resistance is going to just slowly break the situation, the circumstance down crack by crack by crack. So sometimes what's happening is the cracks have already been there for us, depending on where these two areas are in your chart, and something unpredictable comes along and gets it off the fence. It breaks it, but it creates liberation. But whatever it is, it can be uncomfortable and shakes us out of the fake reality that we were in, right? It's not reality, it's a delusion. So some delusion you might be getting shaken out of. Now, this is really a timing transit because as these two come together, it's going to create movement. It's going to create a bit of movement as we're heading into the weekend. Now, the sun will also be in a trine to Neptune, and very shortly after that, it'll enter into Sagittarius. But the Sun Neptune trine is an opportunity to really ground into that intuition, trust that what is for you, what you're sensing, what you're feeling, these wilds that are coming up for you is absolutely on time. Now, that Uranus opposition shook and not stirred some things loose, and you got to trust what you're seeing around it. As the sun moves into Sagittarius, happy birthday, Sagittarius friends, and this will be in the evening, the tone shifts because it's time for us to move into a mutable space of our energy. The room lights up again. We've seen some deep truths come from hell and back. And now in Sagittarius season, we want to broaden our horizons again. We want to dream. We want to take our new truths and information out and broaden our horizons. We want to see what is the meaning of this now. I have all this freedom. I have this liberation. I have this new thinking. I have this new heart. I have this new forgiveness. I want to take it on the road and see what I can do with it. So really, as we get to Friday, I think that the more control or stubbornness you try to bear down with, or the resistance to what's kind of coming up and trying to change that's been presented throughout the week, the harder it is. But this is a space, Friday, breakthroughs, intuition, making the pivot that you need to make. This energy will definitely support that. On Saturday, the 22nd, okay. Mercury's trine Saturn, then we got the trine to Jupiter that's happening here as well. Of course, Mercury is still retrograde. So it's kind of the anchor of the week as I look at this energy. And this is early morning because Mercury connecting to Saturn here is going to give structure. Jupiter is going to give that expansion. So together, there's kind of this wise, stable pathway moving forward that we can take a bit of action and decision making on. Later in the day, we'll see that the moon is going to shift into the vibration of Capricorn. Practicality. Saturday is loaded with a fair amount of steady practicality, so lean into that if you're needing a bit more grounding. As we're going to close out the week here on Sunday, we see the sun here at its 1 degree of Sagittarius and a sextile to air sign Aquarius, Pluto in Aquarius at 1 degree as well. Now, the sextile creates the pocket of opportunity, and we are invited to take action on it. So this is, as far as transits go, it's an empowerment transit when the sun and Pluto come together because Pluto activates these deep layers of cultural, social, group identity, individuality, authenticity, and how we add that to the collective in Aquarius as well. So there's part of you that is transforming from the inside out that will add something life-changing to the collective, right? And even if what you're adding to the collective is the collective of your own home, and you say, you know what, I really need to pour into my own cup and I need to practice receiving, right? I need to come back home. thus the Venus reset program. I know I've been beating the drum about it, right? But it's because some of these things are so revolutionary that when we start them at home, they spread into our communities, they spread into our world, right? And the sun here in that big Sagittarius energy is highlighting your courage and your purpose and your clarity around taking this thing on. It's like a power has returned, a confidence is restored, some truth is embodied in a different way that gets to show up through this transit. And it brings you this urge to say, I'm willing to prune, I'm willing to clean up, I'm willing to make a decision with intention about shadow integration, right? About a spiritual insight or an energetic insight that I've had about myself or about the world. So, pretty powerful day here, I think, on Sunday as we are closing it out. All in all, it's a busy week. So, I would say this week, just make sure you are staying hydrated, you're doing your Venus reset program, and make sure you get your digital transit calendar from our friends at Wise Guys Collective. It's all in the description box down below. At the end of this video is the Scorpio new moon video. If you haven't checked it out, make sure you pop in because I built it to help you out along your astro journey. Bye, everyone.